everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm Julie Mancini. I've been a photographer basically all my life. I started my side hustle 30 years ago when I took photos at a friend's wedding. I've always had more than one job. Everything overlapped. During and after college, I worked in a camera store, 1 hour photo, and I stayed there for 17 years. Even after I began teaching, I continued to work at the camera store until it closed. People often came into the store looking for someone to take photos for them, and this gave me the opportunity to continue to gain experience as a photographer. Some years, of course, were busier than others, and most recently I spent 5 years as the director of the Denellen Chamber. But this past year, after a slow 2020 due to the pandemic, I had more photography work than I could really handle, and I needed some help figuring out what to do to grow my business. So I signed up for the Kaufman Fast Track program, and I learned a lot. We finished up in October, and Jessica and Tyler have reached out to me a few times to see if I wanted to present here, and I'm so glad that I'm here in the fresh new year. Here are 3 things that I kept hearing during our class that really stuck with me. The riches are in the niches, automate, delegate, or eliminate, and you don't know what you don't know. And I'm going to use these as the framework for my presentation. So one of the most difficult things to figure out for me is my niche. And that's because I just really love all of photography so much. It's a mixture of science and art, and both science and art fascinate me. You won't find a lot of photographers today who have spent as much time in a dark room as I have, and you won't find many that really understand what is happening when a camera makes an image. So a few days ago, I got asked about what products I offer. And I took the time to find a list of basically all the types of photography and then delete the ones that I don't do. And there weren't that many that I had to delete. So the next 5 slides show most of the types of photography I've done in the past few years. Concerts, engagements, pets, sports, events, legacy, documentary, weddings, volume, real estate, newborn, product photography, youth sports, restoration, headshot, nature, milestones, teens and tweens, branding, maternity, and graduation and seniors, and composites such as collages and memory mates. If I had to narrow it down to what I did most of in 2021, it would be weddings, seniors and grads, families, events, and food photography. So if I had to narrow it down to 3, my niches would be weddings and events, with the ideal client being newly engaged couples, event hosts, and venues. People, with my ideal client being families with children. And food and products, with my ideal client being restaurant owners and caterers and people whose businesses are in the startup stage. So when it comes to automate, delegate, and eliminate, to scale my business, I hired an editor and started to use Lightroom more instead of using just Photoshop. And to give you an example of how much time I saved by automating, I had 2 weddings in 2021 that each took me 10 weeks to edit. They were big weddings. But one of my most recent ones only took me 5 weeks. So hopefully my turnaround time on weddings going forward will always be 6 weeks or less. Oh, and I need to build a website. I will use this year as a measuring stick to fine-tune my niches and eliminate the things that don't make good business sense. And I need to keep learning. I'm in a field where technology moves super fast, so that's one reason I'll always keep learning in my field. And then I also need to continue to fine-tune my business skills too. That's my presentation. Thank you.
All right. Let's see who has some questions.